Yeah.
Oh, we're on camera.
Yeah, we're on camera.
Okay.
So I don't know, do we take roll call? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably so.
Okay. Okay, I'll take roll call. Alderman Barb Dorf is excused. Jim Boomreich,
Here?
Melanie Parmentier, or Parma, sorry.
Here.
I went and got flowers this weekend.
Parmentiers.
Okay, so number one, approve of the agenda.
Can make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved.
Okay.
So the one item on the agenda for regular business is consideration with possible action on draft 2018 annual action plan and funding recommendation for the RDA. Krista?
Okay, so it's that time of year again where we're putting together our annual action plan for 2018. We have received notice from the department HUD, and we are receiving $996,751 of block grant funds, and $551,102 of home funds, which is more than what we've received last year. We've gone through the process where we've talked to the department heads, finding out what their possible block grant and home needs were for 2018 funding. And then we also did a public hearing, and we got a couple of comments from the public on what they wanted to see. And with putting that all together, we have come up with this budget for our 2018 block grant spending and our 2018 home allocation spending. As you'll see, we kind of are following the same criteria as we have in the past, so that we can follow our 5-year strategic plan goals. We've allocated some funds to park projects, we've allocated some funds to DPW projects, sidewalks and alleys, CDBG eligible area projects for housing, rehab, acquisition, demolition. We've done some economic development. We've budgeted a little bit in here for economic development. And I think two of the new areas that we are looking at are putting together a project for homeowner lead line replacement to help some low to moderate income families within the area bridge the cost from street access to their home access that they need to get replaced due to lead, that the water utility has identified that there is a lead issue at those residences. And then some art beautification within the city. And then, of course, then we have our regular admin. That's all for block grant. In your packet, I did try to break down in the report what these projects possibly at some activities that we could do with this fund, with these funds in those areas. And I think it's my understanding that the packets really didn't go through on civic clerk. So do you want me to go through each one, or do you have questions? How do you want me to proceed? Do you?
Yeah, well, Melanie's new to this.
Yes, so
Okay.
I think it would be nice to go through them. I mean, you know, at a pretty kind of high level, like you've had it here, that would be nice.
Sure, sure. Okay, so Park Department, they are looking for some funding to redo playground, the playgrounds at East River Van Buren Park and Fort Howard Park. Their allocation was $150,000, but because of the additional funding that we've received and the possible shipyard area that might be coming forward in the next couple of months, we kind of upped their allocation along with DPW's to possibly get some money spent down in that shipyard area, as well as what they were asking for. So we put in there a $200,000 budget for parks. DPW, they replace the deteriorated alleys and sidewalks due to tree root damage or to make them ADA accessible. So we allocated $200,000 for those types of activities. Fair housing fair housing services is a requirement through HUD. We just don't have the staff on hand to provide fair housing services for the city of Green Bay. So what we do every year is we RFP that service out, and we contract with, it's usually Metropolitan Milwaukee Fair Housing Council,
Okay.
and they provide all of our fair housing services for the year. So that's a $20,000 budget. Community gardens is half of a position along with the Brown County UW Extension Center to manage the community gardens within the Green Bay area. So that's a budget of a half-time position for that.
I noticed that's down from 40.
Yes, yes. What we did is in the past, we were also paying for costs associated with office space and office supplies and things like that. And we kind of talked to them about that and determined that we really would not like to pay for those costs, but we would pay for half of a position. So that's why that funding came down to
Okay.
$12,000.
So the program's not in jeopardy?
No, the program's not in jeopardy, no. And then our CDBG eligible area projects, those are housing, those could be anything, housing related activities, acquisition, demolition, relocation, rehab, emergency repairs, reconstruction of housing, historic preservation, and then we could also do street improvements and beautification type in low to moderate neighborhoods within the city. So we had allocated $140,401 for those types of activities.
So the big one, I guess, is the community service interns. Has that been fully absorbed into the city's budget?
That is being fully absorbed into the police budget.
Police budget?
Yes,
Okay.
they are picking that up, and I think it's my understanding that they might even change that program to more of a cadet type program. It's morphing into something like that. So this year we have enough, because a few of our CSIs have quit and we didn't replace them, so we have enough funding to carry us through the end of 2018, and then in 2019, the police will pick it up.
No?
Are
Okay.
picking that budget up.
Assuming the budget
Yes.
absorbs that expense.
Right.
And then what about family and childcare and literacy? Did they not apply for monies?
Well, that's the big change with this budget is we decided to do a lot of bricks and mortar and what do you want to say, like physical types of activities rather than service activities just this year. We have some carryover public service funding, $28,000 from 2017. And then the Brown County Housing Authority is also going to be sending out an RFP for $150,000 worth of public service money. So we thought there was quite a bit of public service money in the community right now that could be used by these types of programs. And then with that shipyard coming through, we could funnel some funds into that area just for this year and then pick up public service again next year.
That'd be
So there
parks
was-
and public works.
Right.
Right.
So there was that type of opportunity this year in 2018 to be able to do that. So we kind of discussed it all, and that was our thought there. That's why we didn't allocate any funds, any additional funds to public service activities this year.
Okay.
And then we have the beautification art, and that's putting some art in the downtown LMI neighborhoods, beautifying, possibly flowers, possibly streetscaping, things like that, with that 50,000. We allocated 25,000 to the homeowner lead line replacement that I discussed earlier. And then facade demo for economic development, we put 50,000 in there for helping businesses do facade improvements or demolition work that they might need to have some type of demo on their property. So we put together ED put together a program for that. And our economic development revolving loan funds, those have been pretty much depleted, so they're asking for another 100,000 for 2018.
That was their request.
Yes, that was their request. And then our admin is 20%, and that admin is basically for salaries for individuals up in the planning department. And that cap is 20%, so that's pretty much the max right there. So that's how we broke down our block grant funding.
Is there a targeted area for the facade or demo budget?
There was, but they're finding it's hard to get the money moving in those specific areas, so they would like to open it citywide.
Yeah.
I believe Matt Buchanan is going to be bringing something to the RDA, wanting to make some changes to that program, trying to broaden it a little bit, as well as increasing the amount that business owners can do. So I think he's going to be bringing something to the RDA regarding those changes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have the guidelines for it yet, it's just a pool of money to be used.
We do get the
We-
guidelines for it, but the guidelines are kind of, how did Matt say it, they kind of restrict, kind of limits access to it because I think it's only like $5,000.
Yeah, it's
per-
5,000. They would
Yeah.
like to bump that up so that it's more enticing to businesses in the area, because $5,000 of block grant funds when you have to do Davis-Bacon
Oh,
and you
yeah.
have to do all that stuff is not a lot of money. So, yeah, and I think that they're also going to bring the idea of possibly making them grants instead of loans to the RDA as well, so.
So we'll be bringing in some program changes that kind of pair that amount with what they're thinking.
Yeah, when you turn the corner down here, Green Bay Auto, downtown Green Bay Auto, I remember that was a beneficiary of the prior program. That's got to be 10 years ago or
Yeah.
so, and it's still attractive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So, these were our suggestions. Anything can be changed if you're feeling something is too much, too little. If you have other ideas, that's kind of what we're here for today. We did not receive a lot of comments from the public from our public hearing on our block grant funding as much as our home funding. We had a lot of, well, not a lot, but we had a few organizations that talked about certain types of housing that they would like to, there is a need for in Green Bay, and we'll get to that on the home application side. So this is kind of what we had come up with based on what our 5-year strategic goals are and what we have done in the past, kind of moving forward.
Yeah, we had talked a little before the meeting started about the 25,000 for a homeowner lead line replacement. It'd be a burden on the city to apply for those grants property by property because of the LMI requirements.
Right.
That same kind of issue is going to apply to the administration at Green Bay Water Utilities. So
Yes.
while, I support having this in the budget, there's no guarantee that, we'll actually come around and be able to do that admin part.
Right.
So
And if
I'd like to leave it in there for now, and if necessary, change it.
That's
later
kind of
on.
what we thought. We would kind of keep it in
Yeah.
place, hopefully that they can figure something out, but if not, we can make an amendment and.
Yes,
move
we
it
can
to a
amend the
different-
plan and move the funds into a different project or activity.
But if they're not
If
there-
they're not able to do that.
A part of our issue is too, it's been difficult getting all of the private lead services identified. It's been a real difficult challenge getting into people's homes and finding out who's got private lead on their side. And so we still have some unknown properties that may
Right.
have private lead, and the city ordinance requires that they do the replacement. So-
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I think when we spoke with Nancy, she has enough for the 25,000 right now, but then as the years go on, they'll trickle in depending on where they're doing work, and then where they do the work, then they can identify if there's lead there. But otherwise, like you said, it's hard to go in and identify if lead
Right.
is there, so.
Yeah, and some of the properties may not qualify. They may be rental properties, and the LMI would apply to the owner, not to the resident, I'm
Resident,
assuming.
right.
So,
Mhm. Yep.
all right,
And you feel comfortable with that amount in there?
I do, yeah, we spoke about it at commission meeting
Okay.
about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, makes sense.
Do we want to take a vote after we're done? with
Yeah, we
it?
can take a vote afterwards.
Okay.
I just like to get the block grant done.
Did you have any more questions on?
No, this is good. I
On
like the
any type of
comparison.
activities
No,
or
this is
anything?
good, pretty clear.
Okay. All right, and so then we'll go over to the home allocation amounts. Like I said, we're staying in line with what we have done and the comments that we received at the public hearing. Our single-family rehab loan program is doing very well, and it is very successful. Kevin's got a waiting list of applicants, so we would like to regenerate that program with an additional $150,000. And then we didn't do down payment closing cost assistance last year, and I think possibly the year before. We would like to get back to that. We did receive some comments from NeighborWorks saying that there is a need for down payment closing cost assistance in the community, and it's a very successful program. NeighborWorks has always got enough interest in that program that they spend their money as well. So, and we believe that homeownership is an asset to a viable and good community. So we would like to put $100,000 back into that program. And then that will be RFP'd out, and we will bring you back the best application for award. Housing development advancement projects, we would like to put $145,992 into that budget. Those are for specific, or not specific, but those are for home development opportunities for affordable housing. It could be rental housing, it could be owner-occupied housing. We could develop ADA accessible housing. We did get some comments from people who would like to have a universal design type of housing. So there is a need in the community for 1 and 2 bedroom units like that. So we would like, that could be a possibility of some housing with this funding, development with this type of funding. And then we have $100,000 for our CHODO projects. This is a requirement of our home funds. 15% of our home funds need to be allocated to a local CHODO for housing development. So we would like to put $100,000 into that for any CHODOs. We currently have one CHODO in the community, that's NeighborWorks Green Bay. And they can use that funding for rehab, new construction of single, multifamily, just different types of affordable housing within the area.
So any organization could qualify for some of the $100,000,
Only CHODOs can qualify, only CHODOs.
but there could be other organizations in addition to NeighborWorks that might qualify.
Right, yes, they have to meet a certain criteria that HUD requires. We have tried to get additional CHODOs on board in the in the city of Green Bay. And it's been hard. For one, there's certain criteria that they don't meet. Either their board makeup doesn't meet the correct percentage that HUD is looking for. So currently we just have NeighborWorks. We have been trying to work with Habitat for Humanity, but their board makeup does not qualify them as a CHODO, and they don't want to change their board makeup.
And this is a project-by-project determination?
Yes, and those come back to the RDA for award before we move forward with them. And then we have our 10% administration fee for our staff salaries for Kevin and I to administer the home programs.
I noticed that program income is down 50,000.
Yeah, we didn't receive quite as much program income. We didn't have as many loan payoffs last year as we have in the past. So I erred on the low side here. We could receive more than just 100,000 worth of program income, but I don't want to anticipate more and then not get it in. So I kind of erred on the low side here, based on.
Is that a function of the low mortgage rate and people looking at the future mortgage rates going up, so sit tight because I've got a low interest rate on my mortgage?
Yeah, a lot of people are refinancing and asking for subordinations, so as long as they qualify for our subordinations rather than paying us off, we subordinate, so we have not been generating as much program income because they're not needing to pay us off quite yet. Also, I think it's a good thing because it means that the individuals are still in their homes and everything is working well and they don't have a need to pay us off yet, so. Because these loans are deferred loans as long as it remains your principal place of residency. So they don't make payments on it, it's 0 interest. And these loans could go out 30 years, if not more, you know, depending on how long they stay in their home. So.
Well, you have questions? I'm kind of commandeered the questions here.
No, that's good, that's helpful. No, I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, obviously, you've compared to where you've been, you've talked, you know, amongst yourselves and staff and moving things forward, so I don't see anything out of line or alarming.
It's a good news budget on home.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
$100,000
Yeah.
in spite of the income being down.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, for the longest time, they were talking about that
Cuts.
program was being significant cuts,
Right.
and then this year, they're quite a bit of an increase.
Quite a bit of an
That's
increase,
good.
so we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll use it in the community for good, so.
That's great. Nice opportunities, definitely.
Right. And of course, this will bring to the RDA in June, so, you know, if people have additional comments after the RDA, you guys recommend it to the council, council approves it, 30-day comment period, it goes back to the council for final approval, and then we submit it to HUD.
It's a week from Tuesday then, right?
Right.
Mhm. Well,
The 12th.
Any more questions? Mel?
No question.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
All right, good.
So we'll
What
just
a
need a
motion.
motion.
Yeah, make a motion to approve the draft of the 2018 annual action plan and funding as recommended.
I would second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Right, yeah.
That was helpful.
Nice, yeah,
The
that's-
year-to-year comparison.
Oh, we need a
input.
motion to adjourn as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Formalities.